All right, the Lions make a bizarre roster move. We're going to talk about that, and we've got a special guest, Ben from Sports Talk Denver. So that way we can really dive into this huge matchup, which I think is the biggest game for both teams to date. Obviously, we're late in the season, so it makes sense. But Ben, I want to show you this, get your thoughts as it pertains to Denver as they face the Lions. So the Lions have just struggled defensively, and defensive tackle wise, it's been a big deal. We don't have the talent on the defensive line. Quinton Bohanna was one of our surprise players, but he's been back and forth on the practice squad. Well, he's been poached by the Titans, and off he goes. And we lose a huge part of our defense. Just like, why was what? He was on the practice squad. So the reason this is such a big deal is because Isaiah Buggs hasn't been playing. Levi hasn't been playing. Broderick Martin. These are all our D tackles, and he's been up, down. And Bohanna's been the one productive guy that we lose. So it's really bizarre that we would be screwing around with him on the practice squad back and forth. So with that being said, that's the news of it all. But how that kind of carries over to the field, Ben, I want to know from you as a Broncos fan. It appears from afar that the Broncos obviously have picked it up defensively. Russell Wilson was dogged there for so long. What can you tell us about the offense and generally what we need to worry about and just the state of your offense right now?
Yeah, well, great news to hear that y'all just like let a defensive tackle go, because I think the strength of this Sean Payton offense right now, the strength of where Russell Wilson is in his career, is we got to run the rock. And we have just a stable of running backs. We got Samaje Perine. He's got this huge beard, and he's like Marshawn Lynch light. We got our bell cow back in Javonte Williams, who never gets brought down off the first tackle. Then we have an undrafted rookie named Jaleel McLaughlin. And he reminds me actually a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs, where he just has that, he gets to his top speed in like 1 or 2 steps. So hearing that it's maybe just Hutch is the guy we got to worry about. And I think what the Broncos have done this year, we played Khalil Mack, the NFL sack leader. We played Myles Garrett, who's just yoked out of his mind. And we were able to neutralize both of those guys just by going wherever they weren't. So if Khalil Mack lined up on the left, we ran to the right. And so it's exciting to me to hear that y'all lost a defensive tackle, because I think we'll just stay as far away from Hutchinson, because I think he's a future defensive player of the year for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so offensively, you're going to run the ball. Defensively, I see a lot of the takeaway stats and that sort of thing. Is it the defense is playing well, and like so sometimes, the takeaways just kind of happen, and that's great, or is it like, no, this they're playing at a high level, and the turnovers are a byproduct of that? Where's the turnovers, and how's the defense playing?
Yeah, awesome question. So we have these 2 inside linebackers that are kind of like Chris and Craig. They're just the ultimate bros, Josie Jewell, Alex Singleton, and they're like the culture setters of this team. And after that 70-20 debacle, where we just were embarrassed on national TV to the Miami Dolphins, everything just flipped. We cut Frank Clark and Randy Gregory. They really were weighing down the culture of this team. And since then, we've been just a totally different team and have just shut down offenses. And it's easy to say that the turnovers aren't sustainable, or like you said, is that just a fluke? I think it is a result of this Vance Joseph bend but don't break defense. And I think it's definitely sustainable. And I think with how Jared Goff has been playing the past couple games, I think turnovers are certainly going to come. It's going to be way harder on the road. Playing in Detroit is going to be rough, but I'm excited to see what this defense can do. Our biggest weakness on defense is stopping the run. We're one of the worst teams against the run in the whole league. And I don't know. I thought you guys were all just super foolish to not get Bijan in the draft, but man, you have to be like thrilled to death with Gibbs, right?
Oh, absolutely. And Gibbs, yeah. So that's interesting you say that, because we have not been running the ball because we keep turning it over, and then we get behind, and we're just all out of sorts lately. But if we can stay in the mix of what we want to do, running the ball is top priority. So
that would scare me. If you run the rock, I think you have a really good chance of winning this game. But I mean, your coordinator, I think, is so clever, right? That what was it, Ben Johnson? Is that his
Yep.
name? And he could have been a head coach anywhere. And sometimes I think he gets a little too cute and gets away from that. So I guess my hope would be he tries to test Pat Surtain, who I think is like one of the best corners in the league. We got the highest paid safety in the league, and Justin Simmons. But yeah, if you run the rock, man, that it could be a long, long night for the Broncos on prime time because the
Oh,
NFL believes in both of us, which is
that's
awesome.
I love that. And you nailed it. I think Ben Johnson's been getting too cute lately, and we've got this tackle that comes in. He has to like declare eligible every time, and he's like our fourth tight end. It's like, okay, that's enough of that, right? Just line up and play. He's like, hey, man. It's like, dude, come on. So next question for you, Sean Payton. From afar, it's like, oh, game passed him by. He's can't evolve. He sucks. And then the next thing you know, you guys are on this winning streak. You're back in the division hunt of all things. Where are you at with Sean Payton? Because real quick, the history, Sean Payton has kind of pulled Dan Campbell along with him forever. Every stop he's gone has great things to say about Dan Campbell. So it's a really cool thing. But Dan Campbell's like, was asked about, he's like, yeah, he'll embarrass us if he gets the chance, like just stone cold. So he's like this old grandpa guy all of a sudden. And yet I don't know what to make of Sean Payton. Help us up with Sean Payton.
Well, is this channel marked explicit? If I take off my shirt and show a Sean Payton tattoo, is that okay?
That's awesome.
Uh,
Yes.
I am 1,000% in on Sean Payton. I think he has just this ability to relate to young players while having like this old wisdom. And even after 70-20 drumming by the Miami Dolphins and then being down 28-7 to Justin Fields on the road, he was able to like turn things around. And I think the slow start really has more to do with the fact that you don't have padded practice, you don't have all the OTAs. And I think we're now starting to understand that Sean Payton offense. And you just see he had the sweetest play call for the best drive of our entire season. We had a 7-minute drive to win the game last week against the Chargers. And it just capped off with this beautiful play that was like a winged tee. And you just saw him like take his glasses off and just have like that grin on his face. Like, yeah, I'm kind of the man. And I think when I think of Sean Payton, it's like, imagine you and your family have been going to a McDonald's in town and it's like the most pristine McDonald's you've ever been to. And you're like, what? Like McDonald's shouldn't be this clean. It has no business being this clean. And then all of a sudden the general manager for that McDonald's gets hired by a cheesecake factory. Like your expectations of what the quality of that cheesecake factory is going to be because of like what a better establishment that is. You just have super high expectations. And I think for Sean Payton to go from the Benson family and the Saints and winning a Super Bowl there, that would be like just the best McDonald's on the block. And then all of a sudden he now is working with the richest owner in American sports who puts in new fields every week, already committed to a rebrand of our uniforms next year, built a new field house, hired him an assistant head coach, which most teams don't have, all the money in scouting. He'll give all of our assistant coaches whatever money they can handle. So I think all of that shows that Sean Payton is going to have amazing results because you have a great coach with one of the best owners in sports.
Wow. He is he's an interesting guy. And I've been listening to a little bit more about, from him just going into this game. And it's like, man, I don't know if I love this guy. I kind of do. Or if I'm like, dude, he's old. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So you summed it up perfectly. So last question for you, I'm just curious from your perspective, and you don't have to give a long answer on this, but just kind of high level as you watch the Lions from afar, just in general. Curious another fan base's perspective on the Lions and what you see and what you think about our team as you're about to face them.
Well, yeah, I've gotten to watch them 3 games. I watched the Chiefs opening night, amazing. Watched the Packers game on Thanksgiving, and then watched their just shootout with the Chargers. So I think my big takeaway is just inconsistency. That first game of the season, I'm like, oh, they're going to be in the NFC Championship game, and
Yep.
then after I'm eating turkey, I'm like, what? This is not the same team. So that's why I think the Broncos are going to win Saturday night, but it just totally depends. Is it going to be the world beaters who went on the road and beat the Super Bowl champs, or is it going to be the team that a lot of people turned off on Thanksgiving Day?
Oh, that's exactly, you nailed it. So give me a score prediction. Give me a score prediction. We'll get out of here.
Yeah, I kind of call things, and I mean, you helped me start my channel. You're like the OG of this, but you know that since I started this, 6-1, the Broncos are in our last 7 games. I have not been wrong. So this is going to hurt to say on your channel, but the Broncos are going to win 31-20.
31-20. Okay, man. I
Facts.
love that.
What do you think? What's your call?
I think the Lions are going to win 27-20, and I can't wait. I'm going to go over to Ben's channel. Look for me over there as well. He's Sports Talk Denver. I'll put the link to his channel in there as well. And then Ben does, if you stayed with this long, you got to go check this out. He does what would you call this? A diss track, kind of like
fire up, and
yeah,
just
fire up.
wait. Yeah, just wait for this week because I go hard on your Lions, but it's all in good fun. And honestly, they're my
hard
NFC
on the
team.
Lions. He goes hard on the opposing team that they're about to play. Really dogs the city, the state. I mean, it's just no holds bar. So go check him out there. Sports Talk Denver. Ben, thank you for joining all of us. And yeah, check him out. Make sure you subscribe in this channel, and we'll see all of you on the next one.